looking for members 5 out of 7 BFD, a wretched fate for any BFD pug. It means your foolish group failed to defeat Twilight Lord Kelris, his chants of dust to dust echoing across his chamber. In this video, you will witness our group of dad gamers struggling on dad gamer content, so grab your Monster Energy drink and your Sylvanas body pillow as I tell you the tale of the worst BFD pug. It was a Friday evening, and I had just done the Ashenvale PvP event, which wasn't really a PvP event, but okay. It was then that I saw a looking for one DPS BFD fun raid with Discord guide plus XP. Now, despite never having done BFD before, and most certainly having not watched the guide, I whispered him anyways, and I actually got the invite. I joined their Discord server, then our team met up at Azoram Strand. There I summoned the rest, then we headed into BFD. Baron Aquatis started with the healer accidentally pulling the boss. The fight began. Look at these absolute gamers. Even though this was the first boss, aggro was all over the place, with half the raid unknowingly knocking the rest back into the water. Despite this, the boss was slowly losing health, with me on the top of the damage meters, doing an insane 50 DPS. With most of the raid not even on the platform, I got aggro and got pelted to death by the big man. After an astounding 3 minutes and 12 seconds, Baron Aquatis went down. Now, the second boss was a big fat turtle called Gamura. The fight was going fine until his bubble burst and the paladin tank died. Our rogue tried tanking with 0 armor while me and the mage were playing hook and rip aggro first. The next bubble burst killed half our raid, and with our only healer having 0 mana, we wiped on the second boss. Considering how this raid was designed so that even the most smooth-brained WoW boomer dad gamer could clear this run, this wipe was pretty disappointing. The next pull went much better though, with the tanks actually tank swapping, so with only 2 deaths, the turtle went down. Lady Savarez was piss easy, with her mechanics being barely noticeable, but we still somehow had yet another gamer moment. The boss dropped Rakumar's Tattered Thinking Cap, one of the best pieces of Casterloo in all of BFD, and it was mine, with 185. At first I thought the color looked off, and it kinda ruined the edgy wizard vibe I was going for, but I eventually grew into it. We cleared past the tunnels, killing Naga, Satyrs and Murlocs till we got to the 4th boss, Gelahast. Now this boss was the first brain cell check. Once you get him to 1% HP, he retreats to his altar to heal, while his failed abortions come out to kill you. If you have evolved past keyboard turning, this shouldn't be too hard. I survived the first wave just fine, but then unfortunately got stuck in some bones and proceeded to get boned by the shadowy Murlocs. With all the healers dead, this pull ended in a wipe. The second pull went slightly better, being started by yours truly. With this pull, most of us successfully avoided the purple clusterfuck on the ground, and we killed the boss. Next was Lorgus Jet, the emo Radiohead bad boy of BFD. The fight started with the ADHD mage pulling the first mobs. Slowly and painfully, we cleared past the gauntlet of mobs until we got to the boss. I was focusing down the useless totems, please don't do this, and the melee kept on killing themselves to the lightning totem, also don't do this. Everyone died, I got smacked, rinse and repeat. This time I over-aggroed for 2 seconds, then the boss slowly waddled towards me and then deleted me with his Wind Fury. We wiped again, but did much better on the next pull. I unknowingly got killed by the lightning totem, and we then killed Lorgus Jet. After clearing past the BDSM cultist, we got to the big man himself, Twilight Lord Kelris. Other than having a hairline worse than Zaryu's, this dude actually had nasty mechanics. He launches these shadow balls that crash into an area and expand into a no-no zone which will kill you. He has a chain lightning that gives you a slow /dot debuff that needs to be interrupted. He also periodically sends 2 players to his kink realm where you have to kill the femsims inside to get a portal out. And in phase 2 he goes Super Saiyan, and from there it's a DPS race before you're bombarded with dust to dust. First pull, we were doing fine until 2 of our melee overstayed their welcome in the kink realm. Our priest healer then got ported out, so Kelris one-shot the rest of the group. Where was the other healer, you may ask? Well, this male night elf beauty, rocking the drippy as hell Solomon robes, died earlier due to standing in the fire. So yeah, we wiped before even getting to phase 2. In the second pull, the tank was tanking the boss in the shadow zone, so everyone just died. Don't stand in the fire. even if it's purple. But with the third pull, we avoided the shadow crashes, we were interrupting the chains, and we were all alive at the start of phase 2, the first death. I casted an Incinerate into a Chaos Ball into an Immolate. The healer went down, then the mage, then the tank. 8k health. I got zapped by the lightning, and I went down too. 6k health. Some were still alive. We might just do this. 4k health. He picked off the rest, one by one. 2.7k health. We were so close. And that was the closest we got. With our abysmal DPS, we wiped again, and again, and again, and again. Then one dude suddenly went offline and it fell apart from there. Most would have accepted defeat, moved on to the next lockout. But this group had something that most pugs did not have. A strong will, an iron resolve. We agreed to return tomorrow to Blackfathom Deeps, to slay Twilight Lord Kelris, once and for all. I logged on for the raid, and apart from one priest and a pally, most of the group actually came back. Problem was, the priest was a healer, and the paladin was the tank. Now you see, when you post looking for members 5 out of 7 BFD, you're essentially telling the world that your group is either shit, retarded, or both. Besides, no healer or tank is desperate enough to join a half-done BFD. Luckily, the mage offered to take the priest's place, but the tank, no one wanted to tank. Maybe this run was doomed from the start. But then I remembered that I could tank. With Season of Discovery, I could get Metamorphosis, tank for the raid, and save us tons of time, and even the group. Now, did I just offer to tank despite A, never having tanked a raid before, and B, not even having the tank rune? Well, if I did, I wouldn't be fucking asking. So, with the raid starting at 7, I got to work. To even start the meta questline, you need to have done the Soren Rook quest, which I thankfully did after the first raid because the quest reward was part of my previous. You then need to get these 2 random ass artifacts that are located in these towers. I thankfully already did those, and I vividly remember being harassed by a wind serpent in Redridge Mountains. These 2 led to the quest The Conjuring, which has you looting Blood of the Legion from demons in Ashenvale. Problem was, these were very high level mobs. My hit chance was terrible, meaning my damage was terrible. There was no way I would do this on my own. But then, I found a group of locks and pallies who had to go for the same bullshit as I. Eventually, with their help, I got 10 of the necessary blood samples and headed towards the blood altar. Usually, I would have to clear through waves of demons, but thankfully, some horde scrubs already did the dirty work for me. From the portal came out fucking Rasputin, and then I had to go back to Doan Karhan to his camp in the middle of the fucking barrens. It was there that I got the rune. You see, we were supposed to start the raid at 7 PM, but with a 5 out of 7 group, even looking for a DPS was pretty challenging. After a few minutes of searching, we eventually found a red pally and a rogue. So with my machete, my beer mug of fiery wrath, and my big dick demon form, I was ready to tank Kelris. Now, as expected, I was a pretty terrible tank. I LOS'd my healers and dragged the melee into the shadow zone, all while literally learning my rotation tanking the hardest boss in BFD. We were somewhat making progress, even getting him to 8% HP. After a few wipes though, the rogue that we invited went offline and it was not looking good. 5 minutes turned into 10. 10 minutes into 20. People were starting to lose their morale. The group was falling apart. But while spamming LFG with my seemingly lost cause, I got a whisper from a warlock. I immediately invited him, though it was a shame that the feral didn't whisper me earlier. Despite her having shit gear and not even appearing on my damage meter, she kinda knew what she was doing. We slowly got our shit together. The range started to stack properly, interrupts were landing, we were not standing in the shadow zone that was killing everyone. Our only enemy was our fucking awful DPS. Our kills were getting awfully close, with one pull being 4% and another being 2%. We realized that what we needed was a push, so after wiping again, we got most of our raid to get consumables and world buffs. Not me though, I had to summon everyone back, like the warlock cuck that I am. After clearing the trash that respawned, yeah, that's how long it took, in the next pull, with 0 deaths, we finally killed Kelris. The epic staff dropped, a 5% drop chance, highly coveted by all casters. Now do I, Czompi the Gnome Warlock, who did the most DPS, who went through obnoxious questlines to tank when the group needed him most, be rewarded for his great efforts? Of course not, the fucking priest won it, the same guy who did this shit. Trust me, I'm not salty, what's the word? But we weren't done just yet. There was one more boss to defeat, the three-headed dildo dragon called Akmai. This boss has a COVID breath you need to avoid and applies stacks of poison that need to be cleansed. My WoW head guy told me to look for cleansing pools, and I was like, bitch, I don't see no motherfucking pools, not knowing that by pools it meant the water elementals, so I died and we wiped. We got kinda close, but with the ads it got kinda messy and the healers kept on running out of mana. Eventually, after 4 wipes, everyone just gave up and we disbanded the raid. It was way past the WoW boomers bedtime anyways. And that concludes the story of the worst BFD pug. Now I have been in many BFDs, too many in fact, where I bided my time, suffering loot drought, dealing with salty dipshits, and getting my dick hard over doing more damage than the other warlock. Sometimes it will be a sub 1 hour speedrun clear, and others will be 5 out of 7s with a collective IQ of Asmongold's left nutsack. But this run was special, as it's the story of how a team of grey parsers managed to overcome that which stood in their way. Not Akamai though. But we killed Kelris, that's what's important.